Now, on to the most exciting bit of the forum for me, I'm thrilled to welcome a really interesting and varied selection of speakers, and they're all skilled practitioners, and they are all pushing the boundaries in some way or other in their practice. So first of all, Francesca, who you may or may not know, eco-warrior, shining light in using throwaway materials to talk about what a load of rubbish.
So, well, first of all, I wanted to thank BAMM for inviting me. Of course, when I knew what the title of the forum was, I was like, yes! Pushing the boundaries, I love it. And secondly, thank you, Phil. You're the best host ever. Honestly, I feel really privileged to be there, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes,
of course.
That's privileged people. And also, thank you for speaking first, because I thought mine would have been a bit of a rubbish icebreaker. So I just press, right? And it should just go. Ooh, yes, so that's me, Francesca Busca, and yeah, What a Lot of Rubbish was the title. I keep on going up. How do I go back? No. Shh, close your eyes. It's easier than I thought. Thank you. That's it. That's the first. Okay, I'm getting there. Anyway. Oh, that's why, yeah. What a load of rubbish. Anyway, who am I? Well, clearly I've made the wrong choices for most of my life, because I have a background in classical studies, graduated in law, studied them a bit everywhere, Italy, France, the UK, and New York. I practiced as a solicitor, both in the city and in-house in the West End. And I finally retrained in mosaic and fine arts and the London School of Mosaic, where I've also taught fabrication for a year, in 21-22, the diploma, to replace our wonderful maestra, Julia Vogridge. It was a real treasure to have during her maternity leave. And I've learned a lot. Hopefully, some of my students were here, learned some too. And then I've exhibited in many venues. Actually, I had to count, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, a bit here, a bit there, a bit all over the world. I've been published in lots of books. 2 of them actually are here. I mean, 2 of them, Breeze and Helen's. Anyway, I won a few awards, and I currently practice in mosaic, traditional mosaic as well, actually, because I just bought a new house, so I've done some mosaics finally for myself. The shower splashback and the studio splashback, and given what I do, this was quite of a refreshing experience, having a good excuse to actually use traditional material. Anyway, installations, scenography with reused fabric as well, and layered photography, whereby I take one of my artworks and I create stage photographies around it to convey a narrative about it, just expand it and have a lot of fun with it too. Anyway, some of you might know me for the BAMM prompts that Rachel kindly asked me to do in the infamous year of lockdown. I did 4 on paper, metal, plastic and fabric. Rachel also did a work along, come along, tag along, make along, whatever that was, which I thought was a lot of fun, right? Thank you for doing that. I think they're still available on BAMM's channels anyway, and they're also on the highlights in my Instagram profile if you want to have a look. So what am I? I call myself an eco-artivist. I actually like to call myself a rubbish artist, which opens up lots of interesting conversations, as you can imagine. When they ask me, what do you do? I'm a rubbish artist. No, surely. I'm like, yeah, no, seriously. So off it goes. Bless everyone, they're so nice. Anyway, this is one of my, you can't really see, can you? This is one of my layered photographies, as I call them. There's a angel wing made with Actimel bottles, actually, in plastic, which my daughter's, and I called it Forever, because surely if angels exist, they must be made of plastic. Then my daughter is holding it, and that piece is called Inheritance. My son is holding that piece, and it's called Empathy, and this one is called Be in the Future, which also won an award. I don't remember where, don't ask me, just glad I received it. Anyway, so I'm focusing though on mosaics, obviously, and so what is eco-artivism in mosaic? In my view, it's just making mosaics using the minimum amount of resources and producing the minimum amount of carbon footprint. We'll get to that, how. Now, is what I do mosaic? This is, it brings us to the perennial question, what is mosaic? And I think it could be described as the permanent arrangement of tessera in a given andamento. Even permanent, in my view, is debatable. Anyway, this is Bella, which I made with hairdressers' used foils. And this piece I did for the hairdresser who sent it to me. It's made with about 200 used foils. It's 50 by 50. And this hairdresser actually created a network of recycling all the hairdressing material, and it's called Salon Sustainability. You can also follow them online. They use Bella for their marketing material, which I thought was really nice. And also, I'd like you to focus on this detail, for example. Do you see, basically, one of the things I love about what I do is also the fact that you have to think on your feet, because you never know what material you get, and you never know what tessera, what tiles you can make out of them, the shape. Most of the time they're really pliable and you can make loads. Other times it's really, really hard, like we'll see later. But I also wonder if you had this material in your hand, would you have done a similar andamento to this? Now, this is the face. As you know, it's one of the most difficult or, delicate figurative things to reproduce. So I'm just wondering, because that is also what I think is so interesting about this, Once you're a trained mosaicist, and we all studied pretty much the same things, especially if you've done the diploma, obviously, because you've got, a course program, whether you would have used it the same way, or, how different it could be. Be interesting to have a workshop on that. Tomorrow, something similar. I think there's still one place available. Just throwing it in there. Anyway, so what is eco-artivism exactly? So I replaced tessera with waste material. Again, to reduce carbon footprint, of course, because I'm not using new material, prime material, but to stimulate a new perspective on wastes. This is what I do. I want to make people rethink what they see or don't even see as waste, because they just take it and throw it in the bin right away, see it as something disposable. Both as a method, again, using it as prime material, and as a message. So we'll get to what I'm about to say, but this is behind this. It's made with Actimel bottles and 60. And again, there are many different kinds of plastics, and I have to try them on the board. Wherever I can, I use eco-friendly cement, even better PVA, because I think it's the most eco-friendly material you can use as an adhesive. But in this case, Actimel bottles don't take to cement. So each one is screwed on the board. And I'm telling you, 60, it's a lot. But I love it. And this also won a few awards, actually, which was really nice. I love it. I'm not selling it, by the way. That I'm keeping. Anyway, so why do I care about waste so much? For two reasons. The first one is that, as you know, we are literally choking in waste. Just quickly mentioning, the 5 garbage patches that we have in our oceans. They're huge islands. The biggest one of them is the North Pacific one, I believe, and it's as big as France, Spain, and Germany put together. It's not a real island you can walk on, but it's made of this plastic and leachate, this and microplastics, and it basically is impenetrable sometimes to animals. About 1 million animals get killed by it every year, either trapped in some of the things or choking in them, which I think is really worrying. And also because, there you go, because we are plundering Earth beyond sustainability. I don't know if you're aware of Earth Overshoot Day. It's basically the day in which we finish the resources we are allowed to use sustainably so that nature can replenish them within the year. I don't know if it's clear. Basically, we think we have infinite reserves, infinite resources. We do not. Not only that, we use up our resources way before they are allowed by nature. We are really plundering planet Earth. It's incredible. It's really worrying. These are some of the dates globally. The last 5 years, it's usually in July or August, which means that we are using, much more than we should, almost twice as much as we should. internationally, globally. Now, individually, this is really interesting. It's not all the nations, not all nations are in here, but you can see Qatar and Luxembourg, February 10th and 14th respectively, they've already finished up their sustainable resources. Everything they use afterwards is unreplenishable, which means they're using, what, up to 8 or plus times what they're allowed to use. United Kingdom, May 19th, we're doing much better. Still, we're using more than twice what we're allowed to use. I think this is just shocking. Also, you do understand we shouldn't even be using the stuff that we're allowed in a year. We should be leaving a few years or centuries, you know, on top of that. Anyway, so I want you to leave. I want to leave you thinking positive afterwards, yeah? So, but it's something that I think everyone should be aware of. This is why I do rubbish art. This is why it's actually so hard to keep positive all the time, you know? Sometimes you think, oh, you know, sod it. That's it, let's just enjoy life until we have it. But I am haunted by the idea of mankind's imminent self-destruction. We are in the 6th mass extinction, and we are the first species in our world who is not only extinguishing themselves but taking everything else, all other animals with us. I think plants will survive, not all of them, but so if we are clever, can we just show it, please, and try to, you know, obviously I've got hope that keeps me going, and the hope is that we will find a way to have a future by rethinking waste altogether, our way of living altogether, you know, creating resourceful innovation, even through science, but mainly rethinking, repurposing, and reducing what we're using, you know. Recycling is not working that well. Unfortunately, it's still something, but so we actually need to reduce, I think. This is Winter Wonder, and it's made with cans, 221 cans to be exact. Now, I don't know if you know, but not all materials are infinitely recyclable. Like plastic and paper can only be reused up to 2-3 times. That's why I say recycling is not the way forward. Metal, on the other hand, is infinitely recyclable. So when I use cans, this is the queen of my treasure, as I call it. So to me, this is, you know, a wonderful. It's the top of what I can use, top of the game. And I love the nuances you can get and the pliability of the material. I also use a lot of screw caps, but those unfortunately are not recyclable in most councils, at least in London. I don't know over here, they're too small. So I love them, and I don't feel as guilty in using them. I do slow art. And I love it. I enjoy, you know, both the ethical and material limitations, which my choice entails. Namely, you know, I don't use certain things, like, you know, those beautiful tiles in Smalti and Millefiori if I can. But also, what I use sometimes takes years to gather, so I need to wait or ask friends, or, you know, once I have it, though, it's a feast. Also, I am creating a bit of a network, recovering certain things. So, which is really helpful. Now, this is dry cleaning, and it's made with dry cleaning objects, packaging collected over a year, my husband's. Some of these you will recognize, not daily items. Look how beautiful they look together. And I bet you wouldn't have given, you know, a second thought when you had them in your hands. This is even, you know, the color, the little cardboard that they use for the colors, everything. And again, I try to do sustainable art. Quite frankly, nothing we do at the moment is sustainable, but even living is sustainable. There's so many of us. I'm sorry, I hope we deserve to live and do what we do. But what I try to do is, I think art has to be meaningful and not beautiful. And great art is those pieces that can convey a whole concept, you know, with immediacy. That's great art. But in my case, My purpose is to make it as beautiful as I can, because then I want people to change perspective on it and think, oh wait, stop and look at what you have in your hand. Does it have a value? Which it does indeed, because it has undergone so many technical and chemical processes to become what it is, have that function. But also, can it have another life? And these are fruit nuts, which you probably never thought could be reused. I didn't either. I didn't even know if they took the cement. They do. You need to be very careful. But look, I mean, come on. Obviously, you can guess the theme for this, Candy Cane Lane. But given the colours, I thought it would be perfect for Christmas. And it's 89 fruit nuts that I used. And I do thought-provoking art. That's the artivist, activist part of it, where it comes into place. So sometimes I actually use the tessera as they are, because I think they're, beautiful, worthy objects as they are, and things that people would throw away without thinking twice. To me, I bathe in them. My champagne. And another occasion in which I use screw caps. This is lightweight, about 2,000 used metal caps, and just as many ring pulls. It's 1 meter, say, by 80. Now, I like you to focus for 1 second on the andamento. You can see, right? All these lines stem from a central point. And I'm actually very happy with this, because they look like very easy lines, right? Very, to me, like they flow almost naturally. But I'm actually using tessera all of the same size. So imagine, as a mosaicist, to open up a line only having tessera of the same size. Not really easy, is it? I mean, it's a bit of a... which I love the challenge. But, yes, this is my little secret. I introduce a new player, which is the ring pull. Because that's the beauty of 3D objects and 3D, artworks that we do. You've got the depth and you can play with them, especially diagonally or so. You see that some are more inclined than others. And with those, I just leave some gaps in between, basically, and I place the ring pulls in them. And so instead of seeing the gap, you actually see an extra value added, an extra little thing. And yeah, they're going very well. This is lifestyle art as well that I do, because basically, I've already gone through that. I really think we should push our society towards one that's focused on the good of the whole ecosystem, not on us as men. The world does not belong to us. I think we should just be a part of it, of the whole ecosystem, but we've detached ourselves so much from it that's why we find ourselves in trouble, I think. Anyway, so I try to apply this principle in everything I do. It's not just here. I'm vegan. I dress secondhand. Look at me. What do? I keep the. Oops! No! Don't look. I keep the heating to a minimum, usually 18 degrees if I can, if my children do not complain too much, if they've already, wore all the layers they could. I never throw away any food. I compost. I play with just gardening and permaculture, and it's just really. I just apply it in everything I do. Really, I mean, I've replaced all my toiletries from plastic. There's no more plastic in my toiletries. It took me years, but I keep learning. And actually, it's a learning curve, and it's fun once you start it. I don't even fly anymore. I haven't flown for the past 4 years. Can you believe it? I do miss it, but I'm keeping it for when it really counts. But there's so many little things that you can do, and it's almost like a challenge that you give yourself. Mind you, you can really go a bit too far out sometimes. Live and let live. That's my motto anyway. But this is connections, and fun fact, I think one in the audience has it. The owner is someone who will come to my workshop tomorrow, like Mandy at Soul. Thank you. And these are 10 years worth of unwanted cables, which I tried to give back to the providers, but no one wanted them. And then I just looked at the section, and I just thought, ooh, hold on. And I mean, don't they resemble Millefiori? Come on. So, I am not jealous about my practice at all. Actually, the more people want to try, the merrier. So why not try, you know? A lot cheaper, but you have loads of cables in the house that you don't use and no one else will want. So please. But so especially what I do is professional art, and this is what I'm particularly proud of because I do something that I think no one else in the world does. And so I make a living selling people their own waste back, okay? Ethically, too. So and they seem to like it and they come back for more. This is actually a triptych that I did earlier this year. It's called In the Flow. It's for a global financial services firm in the city. And it's in the main boardroom where they also have the Zoom calls. And the beautiful thing about it is that they told me that whoever connects, you know, usually they say, oh my God, what's that in the background, you know? And yeah, they actually say that it's a wonderful icebreaker with all their clients. So how did I get there? It all started by being an eco-activist. So I wanted to make a difference if I could. Well, this is hybrid cactus, by the way. It's made with medicine vials and some bones. Medicine vials from my mom, so I get exactly 365 of them a year, which is great. It makes it very predictable. I love to use them. So finding a way in, I thought of the government first, of course, through the council perhaps, right? Because it reaches the highest number of people, but it's really slow, it's really hard to approach. Obviously, most of the time you'll be doing it pro bono, which I'm fine with. I've done loads. I love to do pro bono, but this is my income we're talking about as well. So I had to find, you know, a way to do both. Also, people tend to take you more seriously when you make yourself be paid for what you do, incredibly. So there we go. I'm doing that. Individuals, of course, individuals are the best people. You know, the best way to get across to people. You develop a personal relationship. You can tailor it to everyone's interests and answer all the questions there and then. But I mean, there are not enough lifetimes, you know, to talk to everyone or as many as you would through the government or other organizations. So I tried different ways. For example, in 2018, I launched my Little Things, my Payment in Kindness, initiative at my Little Things solo exhibition, which I had in a really posh lobby of this building in High Street, Kensington, whereby I was accepting eco-friendly gestures, little things, as payment in kind towards my artwork. But the exhibition was censored within the first week, I think day 3 or 4. But not because of the waste. No, it was because of some messages that was conveying, some skulls that were, you know, depicted in some of my pieces. I was totally fine with that. It wasn't an art gallery. It was a lobby. If they didn't like it, it's their home. I'm not going to intrude. So that was fine. But, fun fact, when I set up the exhibition, I brought with me some of the items I used to make the tesseras from, and I put them under each piece where I used them, and went home to get changed. Came back a couple of hours later, they were all gone because the cleaner had come by. But the artworks were still there, which was sure, thankfully. But I was really upset at first. But it did prove my point, right? It did prove my point. I did make a difference between what you don't give a second thought to what it can become. So that was really interesting. Anyway, so I thought, companies, that's it, the right way in between, of course. Also, I used to work in a corporate environment, so I feel at ease, and I already had a network, of course, of ex-colleagues or friends who work there. They're easy to approach, at least, in my case. They are far-reaching. Sometimes they go beyond boundaries, nations, because they have global presence. They are well organized by definition. They have a very efficient implementation because every project is overseen from within, and they're fast. Oh my God, they're so fast. Sometimes you're asking a bit more time, well, can you just give me an extra week? No, actually, but it's really, really good. Also because, you get in through this greenwashing agenda that they have. Fine, I'll get in whichever way I have to. But once I'm in, I usually find people who really care. which is great. You really develop a personal relationship with them, and they keep coming back, actually, which is amazing. But anyway, this is the spiel I developed for it. I prepared for it. See if you understand it. So yeah, so how did it start? I found a very, very good friend of mine who is a partner and co-founder of Bluefield Partners, and they invest in green energy. So already the mindset was there. In 2019, I launched this. It's part of this Outworkivist movement. For now, I'm the only member, but maybe I should try to canvas a few. It's about time. But I wanted to try this Art for Trash first. As you can see, actually in the back, that was their canteen, where they put out the advertisement about this project, whereby all the staff had to collect the items that we first went through the bins, of course, what the best items were, but also this was the pilot project, so I asked for a lot of initiatives from the staff themselves, and I was really well pleased because some items they put in there really tickled my creativity, things that I didn't expect to see. This was one of the collections for spring, which was one of the 4 pieces I did for them, collectively called a monument to seasons, not to summer. That's wrong, sorry. So this is spring. A few details of things that you can find in there. You don't really see. Well, you can now that you've seen them in a close-up, but see the forks. These are the 4 pieces. And this is where they're hanging now. Actually, on the opposite side, you get a view of London, of the city of London, on St. Paul's. It's beautiful. Anyway. And this one is the commission, Art for Trash commission that I did for Adobe's for the main corridor. It started right before lockdown. Well, I finished it right before lockdown, but I didn't have the time to install them, because that's when lockdown happened, so I had to wait. And it's a little video, 5 minutes video. Hopefully you find it instructive and not, I'll check who's got the eyes wondering. So there you go.
Il casse le monde en petits morceaux. Il casse le monde à coups de morteau. Mais ça m'est égal, ça m'est bien égal. Il n'en reste assez pour moi, il n'en reste assez. Il suffit que j'aime une plume bleue, un chemin de sable, un oiseau peureux. Il suffit que j'aime un brin d'herbe mince, une goutte de rosée, un grillon de bois. Ils peuvent casser le monde avec leur marteau pesant. Ils peuvent casser le monde en petits morceaux. Mais ça m'est égal, ça m'est bien égal. Il en reste assez pour moi, il en reste assez. J'aurai toujours un peu d'air, un petit filet de vie, dans l'œil un peu de lumière, et le vent dans les orties. Et même, s'ils me mettent en prison, il en reste assez pour moi, il en reste assez. Il suffit que j'aime cette pierre corrodée, ces crochets de fer où s'attarde un peu de sang. Je l'aime, la planche usée de mon lit, la paillasse et le chalut, la poussière du soleil, J'aime le Judas qui s'ouvre, les hommes qui sont entrés, qui s'avancent, qui m'amènent retrouver la vie du monde et retrouver la couleur. J'aime ces de longs montants, ces couteaux triangulaires, ces messieurs vêtus de noir. C'est ma fête et je suis fier. Je l'aime, ces paniers remplis de sons où je vais poser ma tête. Oh, je l'aime pour de bon. Il suffit que j'aime un petit brin d'herbe bleue, une goutte de rosée, un amour d'oiseau peureux. Il casse le monde en petits morceaux. Ils cassent le monde avec leur marteau pesant. Mais ça m'est égal, ça m'est bien égal. Il en reste assez, il en reste assez, mon cœur.
So, yeah. That was fun, I have to say. And it was twice as exciting because it was one of the first times I went out. And I had to go and install, so woohoo! Anyway, it's a journey, and it's one of the most recent pieces I've done. And it's made with 38 reused tube papers. Initially, the brief was, because all of this is material driven, right? So I can give an idea to the clients of what we can do once I see the rubbish. I can confirm once I know how much they've collected, when I go for collections. I accept, obviously I ask them if they have any special requests, like in the case of Adobe, the A. But then, of course, I don't really know. I would only know once I received that. The brief for this initially was that they wanted to use their own financial papers because it's a financial services company. But then they had everything online, which I thought, that's brilliant, actually, well done you, woohoo. But what do we do? And I say, well, how about we take the tube papers? Because surely they know the Metro paper, everyone has seen the Metro paper. The CTAM, which is the one that, same as Metro, you get it within the city. Maybe and even in standard here and there. So we started collecting them on the journey. I went there too, going around the carriages, getting those that people leave behind. And this is what we created, and I love this. Paper is an amazing material to use. Some of you will get to experience it tomorrow. And tomorrow, it's just a matter of making you change perspective, and make you have fun and see how many things you can actually do with paper. Also, I was quite lucky because I had lots of shades here, as you can see. But another beautiful thing about paper is that you can make so many different shapes that you can really replace the colors with shapes. So andamento is essential. You need, once you have that, the world is your oyster. There's no limit. It's so much fun. It took me forever. But it's a quadrant, 50 by 50, so overall it's probably 120 by 120. Anyway, so how do I do this? Oh, this is Strawberry on the Beach, by the way, which is part of my edible series, whereby I want to make waste look so beautiful and gorgeous that one would want to eat it. And I didn't, but I think it's, again, it's, I hope it's thought-provoking enough. So come to my workshop tomorrow, and I'll tell you, woohoo! It's a one-off event. I'd love to have more workshops, because again, it's a wonderful way to spread the word and, you know, make more people take part to it and maybe join my artwork if it's a movement. But I really do not have much time, unfortunately. And also, I am looking for an apprentice. If things keep going this well with offices, I am looking for an apprentice. Collaborations too, but the point is that I need to find someone who is like-minded, because it all starts from finding rubbish and using it, not making a mosaic, you know. So I need a like-minded person who thinks like me and with whom, you know, you find this sparks on the board with the material, and tomorrow will be, you know, a wonderful way to start as an apprentice. But it could be again collaborators. You never know. But I do need some help. And also, especially, it will be so much fun, right? Some of my students can possibly witness that. Thank you. So what's up next? A current project I'm doing, which I'm loving, is a 10-meter installation that will go on the wall of this chapel for the Ada Lovelace Church of England school. It's open to all faiths, which is incredible. It's really challenging as well, because of course you've got to respect all faiths. And it will be a flow, like this flow of life that will go of all colors. You can actually see it in my Instagram stories. I post every section once I do it. I'm loving it. And also, it's great because the material I get from the more than students, you know, parents and relatives and stuff, because most of them come from wine bottles. The best colours come from there. So obviously students are a little, but ring pools as well, I take all of them. Anyway, and that's due in December. Then I have another commission, 2 meters by 75, using clients' used papers, which I have a few bags of, also in December. And then I have this 3 meters by 2 artwork in 4 panels, which I need to put in my kitchen actually, but it's as an advertisement for things I can do. Because at the moment, because they are more eco-friendly, of course, I do small pieces. Now I started going bigger. Usually everything I do it in such a way that it's eco-friendly from beginning to end. Theoretically, virtually, yeah, carbon footprint, okay. So basically, I'll take it through tube to wherever I have to go, if I can. Go collect by tube, everything, like try to, you know, avoid pollution in any way I can. But this I will do so that I can dismantle it easily and bring it in loco easily. Anyway, then I have 2 weeks of plus residency at the Institute of Marine Sciences in Venice, and it'd be great because I'll be working there with their own waste, both the waste they produce in their labs, which I've already gone to see, and they have some beautiful little items that I'm hoping we'll see how many they've collected by April, and the plastic they actually collect through the projects in the laguna and the sea. So I can't wait. And I've got a couple of friends as well coming to help me, maybe for a day. And if you want to come along, honestly, I'll be there for the Venice Boat Show a little earlier as well. Honestly, you know, you can help me there. I think I'll be looking for some help there. Hopefully, I'll just be using PVA. But we'll see. And it will be a permanent exhibition, so it will stay there. Now, they are the Arsenale, which is where the Biennale takes place as well. So this, I'm hoping, will also be incorporated, or if not, it will be next door, right next door to the Biennale as well. So, really interesting. And that's it. These are my social medias. Please, if you can, follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back. So it's the best way to get to know each other before the next forum as well. And yeah, any questions?
That was amazing, and thank you for going through your sort of back catalogue. And it was really rubbish, that talk. That was what I was going to say.
Thank you.
But we're, going quite close to time. So, does anyone have any burning question on the floor that stops me having to ask one?
I just want to ask about how you wash and clean the rubbish before you use it.
That's a very good question, because that is another point. Like, I don't want to waste water if I can. Well, I think you develop a mechanical process, almost industrial, for which you wait until you gather enough material and then you go through it all at once. Most of the time, it's been sitting there for so long that actually you don't have to clean much at all. It's just dust that you can just rub off. The actual foils, those were hard because they came all scrunched up. Some of the material was still wet. Some of it, in fact, was burning holes, actually, in the about it. Some others could just, you could just wipe off and they would just dust coming off. So I would just do loads of them at once in the water. So I would just use the minimum amount of water needed, and I could do hundreds and hundreds at a time. And then I would put them everywhere in the house, actually. And I'd be like, shh, don't move, don't open the door too quickly. Don't shut it too quickly, because then all the foils will just go around the house. So yeah, it's an interesting process. It's part of it too.
Can you do it with children in schools?
Yes, that's very interesting too. I love to do pro bono initiatives, and the longest collaboration I've done was with some schools in London and Delhi. It was a year-long collaboration, amazing. Workshops here, then we had an exhibition at the Nehru Centre in London, in Mayfair actually, beautiful place, and some workshops with children there too. It was about a breath of fresh air, so air pollution. And I remember going around with some of the children as well, actually my own children, because I couldn't get enough, you don't have enough waivers for this, collecting the dust, pollution dust that in London you find anywhere. Such an easy harvesting place that we will just go and dust it off all the windowsills of the main roads, and then we used it on some of the artwork that we've done. It's really interesting, really well received.
Another question from the back.
Have you ever done an exhibition or something, an artwork outdoors?
That's very interesting, because that's what I was asked to do at the Institute of Marine Sciences as well. Have I done that? I don't think I did. No, I don't think it. Well, no, I've done that through the London School of Mosaics, the traditional mosaics, but I don't think I've ever done it. No, not for trash. No. Maybe we can. You wanted to do something, remember, for the council? Well, I'm here. Let's talk about this. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Alison?
I just wanted to ask what substrate that you use.
That's very good. So whenever I can, I reuse boards that I find. London is beautiful for that, because you find so much rubbish anywhere. Problem is, I do that for individual pieces. When I go into the offices, it's much easier to get standard sizes, so I actually buy them. When I go and buy them, though, I tend to ask if they have some ruined ones that they want to get rid of first. Not necessarily to save money, which also helps, but to save material, because most artists wouldn't take that. But board, usually wooden panels, it's the best. Thank you.
I think we've got time for one more if anyone has. The lady at the back.
Yeah.
Where do you store all your rubbish?
That's my husband and my children. They'll tell you everywhere. Actually, we just moved, luckily, and now I have my own studio. But beforehand, I would store it in the living room. I would work on the actual table, as some other people do. So, yeah, it was a bit controversial, and I spent a lot of time having to clean up, of course, before eating on it. But pretty much the answer is anywhere. And also, it's funny because I developed a symbiotic relationship with this material somehow. Sometimes I sleep with it without knowing. I have them in my pocket. So, anywhere. My family is so patient.
That's great. I'm sure you'll all have a chance during the rest of the day to have a chat with Francesca, and it's been amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hand back to you. Amazing. Thank you, Francesca.
She's around all day if you want to ask your questions at lunchtime. I'm pretty sure she'll answer them for you.